Article 2 appoints the commander-in-chief. The president is commander-in-chief. And no uniformed officer has the right to supersede the commander-in-chief's authority of a lawful order. And that is the point that I am trying to get across.
Well, I think you're missing the point, because the point is illegal orders. And that's exactly what the CNN report was talking about. And you say here, I will follow every legal order, but never an illegal order. If you are ordered, or the Secretary of Defense is ordered, to use military forces to go into the city of the United States to pick up illegals or legal citizens, would you have a discussion at whether or not this is appropriate under the Constitution of the United States?
Senator, if confirmed, I'd be the personnel and readiness undersecretary, and I wouldn't have any role in that function. The conversation around the use of the Insurrection Act, and individuals have been deployed throughout history.
No objection. It is
all right,
so admitted.
Let me try another one. On November 2024, you posted on X that the Trump administration should choose only leaders who are, quote, all oars in the water to achieve Trump Agenda 47. That suggests that you believe that generals should be picked for loyalty to Donald Trump. Is that right? Is that what you believe?
That is not what I believe, Senator.
Then why did you post this?
Well, I was a private citizen when I posted that, and
when you were a private citizen, you said things you didn't believe?
As
still are a private
Agenda
citizen
47,
right now, Mr. Tata.
Senator, let him answer.
Bobby Jones here for MeidasTouch and Valor Media Networks, and today we're zeroing in on a name that comes up time and time again, and it's not for leading necessarily with honor, but leading with blind loyalty. That name is Tony Tata. This week, the Senate narrowly confirmed Tata as Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness. Now, that is not a ceremonial gig. It's one that is vitally important. This office oversees recruitment, healthcare, family services, education, diversity, readiness, morale. It's basically the heart of the American military force. And yet, here we are confirming a man whose most public legacy has been conspiracy theories, desired political purges, and a track record that would make most even mid-level human resources officers be fired. So how did we get here? Well, and why does it matter? What does it mean for the future of the military? Let's start to break this down. Now, Tony Tata is a retired brigadier general. He graduated from the United States Military Academy at West Point in 1981 and served honorably for 28 years. He fought in Afghanistan. He studied at the top military colleges. He was awarded the Distinguished Service Medal. All of that is true, and it deserves the proper respect and acknowledgement. But let's be clear, stars and medals aren't a blank check, because that's only one half of the story, and the other half matters just as much. The Army Inspector General investigated Tata for not one, but two extramarital affairs while in uniform. Now, as silly as that may seem to a lot, that is a violation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, aka military law. During the same investigation, Tata submitted falsified legal paperwork. Let that sink in. A general, a flag officer in the United States Army, submitted false paperwork trying to alter an investigation. That is not a slip up. That is an actual calculated decision. After retirement, Tata moved into public education, first under Michelle Rhee in Washington, D.C., then as superintendent of schools in Wake County, North Carolina. That stint lasted less than 2 years, with him being fired by the school board. The reasons why? Because of combative leadership, ignoring directives, and basically sowing division within the district. From there, he became North Carolina's Transportation Secretary until he resigned abruptly in 2015. Some said it was political, and some said he was eyeing a congressional run. Either way, there tends to be a trend here. He serves for brief stints, gets political friction, and then he exits in a messy fashion. So maybe he's the type of person you may say that's better behind a desk or in front of a camera. Well, that's the problem. That's where things really become troubling, because Tony Tata didn't quietly transition into private life. He became a regular on Fox News, He became identified as an extreme Trump loyalist and a loud voice for the most extreme corners of the MAGA movement. So let's talk about some of the things he's done. We're not talking about 20 years ago. We're talking in the last few years. He called President Obama a terrorist leader. He suggested he was a secret Muslim. He also described Islam as the most oppressive, violent religion that he knows of. He also accused John Brennan, former CIA director, of sending coded messages ordering Trump's assassination. He tweeted, and I quote, that Brennan should suck on a pistol, unquote. That's not debate. That's incitement. This is not about a bad tweet from 2009. This is a pattern, a documented public record of conspiracy theories, religious bigotry, and violent rhetoric. Now, let's go back to 2020. Trump nominated Tata for a top Pentagon post. This time it was for the Undersecretary of Defense for Policy. But the Senate Republicans pulled the plug. They canceled his confirmation hearing. He didn't even get a chance to make it through the door. You want to know why? Because his own party knew that the views that he espoused were toxic and indefensible. So what did Donald Trump do? He gave him a job anyway under the fake title of performing the duties of Undersecretary blah, blah, blah. He sidestepped Senate confirmation and bypassing accountability. Again, these are unprecedented things that we saw happen in 2020. Now in 2025, Tata's back. This time he has been confirmed by the Senate on a party line vote, 52-46. Every Democrat voted no. Every Republican voted yes. That should tell you something, especially for an important position in the largest apolitical body the United States has. The job of Undersecretary of Defense for Readiness and Personnel and Readiness isn't a PR job or parade planning or just optics. It's about who we recruit as an American military, who we train and retain as an American military, what benefits the families get, whether troops have health care and the support that they need, and how to ensure a diverse, disciplined, and united fighting force. This job touches everything from Reserve Officer Training Corps at the colleges and universities of America to the Department of Defense education schools that are all over the world supporting service family members, to DEI programs, to veteran affairs coordination, and just as important, suicide prevention. So ask yourself this question. Can someone who called Obama a terrorist, said Muslims are violent, and wants to purge senior generals who were appointed during Democratic administrations, can they be trusted to lead a diverse apolitical force? Can a man who called for the execution of political opponents foster unity? United States Senator Jack Reed warned the worst thing that could happen to our military is that it becomes a political arm of the president. That was followed by Senator Elizabeth Warren, who asked Tata directly, do you believe any general promoted under a Democratic administration should be fired? You know what his answer was? It's pretty damn evasive. However, his past actions speak very loud and very clear. He has endorsed political loyalty tests for officers. He has mocked diversity programs. He has questioned the patriotism of career civil servants who don't toe the party line. And now he's in charge of the health and welfare of every active duty troop and family member. How does that make sense? This is the militarization of loyalty, and it is not the safeguarding of military readiness. We are seeing loyalists being appointed over professionals. We see the installing of ideologues over patriots, and we're seeing the Pentagon being used not as a protector of national interests, but as a playground for political favors and advancement. This is a problem. This is no longer theoretical. This is happening in real time. And if it threatens the very fabric of military cohesion, the trust that makes the United States military different from every other military on earth is going to be whittled away. We, as members of the military, if you're active duty or even a veteran, we don't pledge an allegiance to presidents. We pledge to the Constitution. We lead with honor, not headlines, and we follow orders, not hashtags. It is vitally important that those in uniform do whatever they can to be as apolitical as possible in executing their duties of office. What you as a civilian or you outside of the military can do is make sure that you hold your elected leaders to account, to hold members of the Department of Defense accountable. Tony Tata should have never been confirmed. But now that he has been, it's up to everybody who cares about not just the United States, but in particular its military, to make sure that he operates with the proper integrity necessary to be effective, and most importantly, to keep the United States of America's armed forces apolitical.
New Midas merch drop! Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more, all at store.MeidasTouch.com.